Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Janice here. So today's video I'm calling Mid-Flight Refuel. And what it is a mid-year review of all the New Year's resolutions and things I had dreamed and hoped for at the beginning of 2016. I figured it was a good time to review in the end of June, July, and kind of see what I'm tracking towards and if those goals still make me happy or just to reevaluate them. And I got the idea from work, like I always do. Many of my inspiration comes from work. I spend a lot of time there, as I'm sure you all do as well. And at work, as a project manager, we project out our timeline and what we're trying to accomplish, and then we figure out if we're on track or not. And certainly by the middle of the project, we want to be halfway through the work that needs to get done. And if we're not, then we have to evaluate that. We call that mid-flight refuel. So if you picture Harrison Ford, Air Force One, where they're like, the Air Force One is in the air and they're trying to fuel it. That's kind of what the idea is behind this. Okay, hope you like that. We'll get into this. This is Chic Sparrow Creme Brulee Black Beauty. I bought it with brads and then I replaced the brads I bought it with to try to see if I like brads. I'm not really happy with brads. I don't like piercing leather. But it's cute, although it looks like I'm crushing them. This gets a lot of use. And possibility begins with imagination. Very cute little charm. I think I got this from my friend Rita. Hey Rita. Okay, so we'll get into this. So here we have Happy New Year. So I do this at the end of December, January. A little index, hopes, dreams, fears, so forth. Okay, and I just write out what I'm trying to accomplish in 2016. Good health was a big thing for me in 2016, and just getting healthy, exercising, getting ahead of my finances a little bit, and just continuing to do house projects and different things. I wanted to take more classes. At this time, a YouTube video wasn't even, or YouTube channel I should say, wasn't even a thought in January. So it's funny how the year takes you on twists and turns and things change. And I suggest gently we should all be flexible with ourselves, right? So here's a printable that I purchased. I'll put the Etsy store below, but I really liked how it had the little calendar and the room to write in your goals for the year. So, the beginning of the year, be healthy, lose weight, exercise, all the things. I knew I wanted to take some trips. I started to kind of lay out my year and just go from there. Some of the big events that I had planned, vacations, different festivals. I go to South Beach Wine and Food Festival every year in February. I look forward to that. So I always put that on the calendar, and just different things. I have a blank page. I'm going to put highlights here, which I have not yet, but I'm going to go back to that. This, if you saw my bill tracker video, is going to look familiar. But basically, what I do here, I'll do it like that. So in this, I put the high level, here's the months, and kind of lay out the year. And I track, like this is doctor's appointments, so May is a month of medical for me. I color code and say, okay, don't forget to make your doctor's appointments, wellness, gyno, dentist, whatever. All of that gets laid out. I've got some bills are only quarterly, taxes for my business. Anyway, I just kind of put a high level and track that here. And I also have it in my bill tracker. Okay, so the battle of weight loss. So I'm in my 40s at this point, and weight loss is so difficult. So basically what I have here is a couple things. So I wanted it to look like Candyland. I finally found like a little Candyland visual on the internet and kind of played with it and borrowed it to make it my own. And then I bought some stickers, printables. I'll put the link below, and I started tracking my weight. So red for me was my danger zone. I hit the 140s. I'm short. I'm not muscular. It wasn't a good place for me. So that was my red. My yellow was my 130s, and 120s is really where I need to live, so to speak. So I put my goal weight on here and kind of like started my journey. And I started tracking my little chart, And I loved this image because this was like really close to what was happening to me, in my opinion. I was what I call rounding. I don't know, thyroid, different things happen as we get older, hormones. And I started to notice, like, I call it rounding. I don't know what else to say. And I wanted to get back to a little sleeker physique. So I kind of liked this visual. And I was tracking my measurements. And I will say I had help, I'll say it that way, with that. I signed up with a coach. I know Weight Watchers and different programs have people that will measure you and weigh you and check you in. And I have to say there's real value in doing this with other people who are going to be your cheerleader. And I learned a lot about my own eating habits through this process. So at first I didn't like the idea of going weekly and being weighed and measured. I have to be honest. I thought it was a waste of time, and I could weigh myself at home, and all the stories we tell ourselves. But the value in talking to somebody every week about eating habits, I learned so much. So just as an example, I'm a consultant. I travel a lot. I eat out a lot. I have like a vacation mentality when I'm on the road. If I go to a restaurant, I like to order things that I don't normally cook for myself. I like to try things that are new to that area. If I'm in a new state or place I've never been, I'll always ask, like, what's your specialty? And if they say chicken fried steak with, buttermilk biscuits and things I normally don't eat, I'll say, oh, okay, that sounds good, and I'll try it. And that puts on weight. I'm not saying don't do those things per se, because I think you have to treat yourself. But if you're like me and a consultant eating out regularly, it adds up. So I learned that about myself, that I have to do, it's like a fear of missing out. That's really what it was. FOMO is what they call it. You're afraid, like, I'm here now. If I don't try their specialty, maybe I'll never have chicken fried steak. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody out there, but that's how I was thinking. So I learned a lot. So this is my weight loss journey. Now, no weight loss journey goes straight down. Wouldn't that be lovely? So my weight went up. I started tracking different things that were happening where my weight actually went up, and put some stickers, never quit, do this for you, keep going kind of thing. So I can look back at these dates and line them up to my vacation calendar and, different things that were happening. So I started to do my weight loss progress chart. This came from the Printable Pineapple. I'll put a link below. I actually really liked a lot of their printables, so you'll see a few of those in my journals. And weight loss isn't everything, right? So there's also just in general fitness goals. And what I liked about this particular printable, and again, I'll link it below, it asked you what your motivation was. So you not only want to say what you want to accomplish and by when, but you want to say why. Like, why do you want this? So for me, I want heart health. I definitely have heart disease in my family. And I struggle with cholesterol and things. You wouldn't know by looking at me per se. But these are, things that come back in the blood work that you learn about yourself as you get older. And you got to try to counter the effects of aging and these things. So, my action plan, I like that was on here. Eat more salads, drink more water, take your vitamins, whatever you have. I think that's, important to list out. And I have some, what's the reward? Well, I wasn't looking to buy myself anything per se, but I want my clothes that are in my closet to fit again. Like, that would be rewarding enough. So exercise was a big thing for me as part of this. And this isn't all about weight loss and, but this was a big part of 2016 for me. Well, the kicker is I was like, okay, I'm going to join a gym. I've never joined a gym. So I went to this kickboxing gym by my house that just opened. Lovely owner, Connie. I'm really enjoying her, a very upbeat, positive person. But sure enough, my third class, I must have thought I was Rocky Balboa, and I got a little overzealous and I rolled my ankle. So I was in trouble for like 6 months. I kid you not, it's just healing now. So exercise didn't go real well for me, but eating more salads and just really watching and thinking about nutrition. I did a consult with Jeff Novak about a year or two ago. He's a local nutritionist that works with Dr. McDougall, if you're familiar with the starch solution. Anyway, he's in Florida, and I did a consult by phone, and I learned a lot about how to read labels in particular. So you might want to look up Jeff Novak. Okay, habit tracking. I have mixed emotions about habit tracking. but I love my habit tracker. So I'll put a link to this as well. I bought this off of Etsy. And what I loved about this particular habit tracker is it has motivational quotes at the bottom. So this one says by Brian Tracy, "Successful people are simply those who with successful habits." And what we become, what we repeatedly do. That's Sean Covey, not Stephen Covey. Interesting. So anyway, I was tracking, you know, all the things that I was trying to get done. And I have mixed feelings on daily tracking. And the only thing I'll say too, I hope they put this out for 2017 because I really like this habit tracker, but I would like them to add the day. So I was kind of making little dots where my weekends were, but yeah, that's the only thing missing from that. If you bullet journal, you know the drill. You usually put your day and then the date number underneath. So that would have been probably a little bit better. So the value of habit tracking. So this is what I think about this. I'm not a big fan. It does help hold you accountable to yourself. So if that's important to you and you want to make sure you're really keeping up with your goals, I think daily habit tracking is the way to go. You know, it's important. You'll be able to see what you're doing. And I just want to also point out my habits that I wanted to track, change, modify, whatever, changed over time. So what was important to me in January may not have been important to me in, you know, May or June. So I'm flexible with myself, and I recommend we all be flexible with each other and ourselves. Be kind to yourself. You know, if what's important to you changes, just go with that. You know, don't beat yourself up because you're not as diligent about taking your vitamins or something like that. Okay, so these are all the other months. Okay, so then we get into life tracking. I was inspired by Boho Berry, and I liked her, I think it was called a Hyperdex, but I couldn't see myself drawing that every month or printing that, and it just wasn't my style. I like bar charts. So what I did was I borrowed from the Miracle Morning and Boho Berry and, you know, the Level 10 Life. I'll link below to credit, but I put it in bar charts. And what I did further was I kind of put my baseline, you could see like a darker line. To me, this is my evaluation of myself and my starting point. And I think, you know, at work we always have baselines, like where are you starting? You might want to do that for yourself. Like, where are you starting? So at the end of the year, you see if you made progress or you've gone down, or even staying flat in some cases is not a bad thing. The Life Circle progress, and I got this from Oprah. I went to one of her local Your Best Life Now events in Miami about 2 years ago. And she said you draw a circle and do like a pie chart for where you're focusing your efforts. And then you put smiley faces or unhappy faces based on how you feel about those sections. And health was a big focus for 2016. So that's a big pie. Spending more time with family and friends. You know, work is always on there. Money, different things. So I kind of made my pie chart for where I spend my time and my focus, and kind of gave it a happy face, unhappy face, where I think I could do better, and where I think I'm doing okay, but you know, there's room for improvement. So this is a monthly life tracker for me. Yeah, and some months I do better than others. Some months I'm ahead of my baseline, sometimes I do worse, but that's the idea there. Let me kind of go through. Okay, this is now on to the only other thing in this book is I did some vision boarding. That's what I'm calling it. And you know, about health, and let's see what else I got in here. Just eating healthy, exercise is in here. Oh, you know, kickboxing. I mentioned I signed up for kickboxing this year. It didn't go very well, but Rocky was my inspiration. I love Rocky and all the lessons of Rocky and Sylvester Stallone in general. So wonderful story. Yeah, that's motivating to me. I actually have a book called The Life Lessons by Rocky. It's really good. And then just, you know, vision board for what I consider fun. My fun usually involves getting away and going someplace where there's ocean and hammocks and relaxing. I love beach and ocean. Also love eating. So there's always champagne and stuff. I mean, celebrations, writing, reading, quiet time, as well as adventure time. And, you know, I'm always looking for the love of my life. So I kind of put some visioning there. And that's my tracker, my life tracker. I hope this helped somebody out there and you enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe and like if you did. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.